Welcome you all to Sri Lectures YouTube channel. So in this video we will discuss about some of the basic concept about electric potential, and from that electric potential we can cover the topic potential due to point charge, line charge, surface charge and volume charge, and then we derive the relationship between electric field intensity V and potential V, and along with that we discuss Maxwell equation. So first one, electric field intensity due to a charge distribution can be obtained from either by means of Coulomb's law in general case or from Gauss law when the charge distribution is symmetric. So a very important point, Gauss law is applicable only for symmetric charges. All other cases we are using Coulomb's law to determine the electric field intensity. So next point, another way to obtain E is from electric scalar potential V to be defined in this section. So in this section we will derive the expression for E in terms of V, and in a sense this is a way of finding E is easier because it is easier to handle the scalar than vector. So compared to by means of either Coulomb's law or Gauss law, finding E from vector potential is easy because here only we are using scalar. So previous case we are using vector. So this is easy compared to other two methods. So next point, suppose we wish to move a point charge Q from point A to point B in an electric field E as shown in figure below. So here we have point A and B. So now we need to move the point charge Q. We need to move the point charge Q from point A to B. So we need to move from point A to B. So in the electric field E. So here origin is, this point is origin. So now the distance between origin to point A is taken as R suffix A. The distance between origin to point B is taken as R suffix B. So now along the path A to B we are taking small differential length dl. The line joining of point dl to the origin is taken as R. So now we need to find the expression. This figure shows the displacement of point charge Q in an electric field E. So next one, from the Coulomb's law, force on Q can be written as. So already we discussed, from the Coulomb's law we can define the force F is equal to Q into E. This is taken as equation number 1. So that the work done in displacing charge by dl length is given by dw is equal to minus F dot dl. So again F is replaced by, from equation 1, F is replaced by QE. This is considered as equation number 2. Next one, here the negative sign indicate the work is being done by external agent. So here the movement of charge from point A to B is done by external agent, that can be defined by putting negative sign. So next point, thus the total work done or potential energy in moving Q from A to B is W is equal to minus Q integral A to B E dot dl. So this is considered as equation number 3. This is work done formula. So later section also we are using same formula. So by dividing equation number 3 by Q gives the potential energy per unit volume. So now we need to divide this expression W work done by Coulomb charge, then it gives the potential energy. This quantity is denoted by VAB. So here we have work done. This work done is divided by charge, then we get potential difference between point A and B is denoted by VAB. VAB is equal to W by Q is equal to minus integral A to B E dot dl. So this is the formula corresponding to potential between the point A and B. So here with respect to above equation we can define 3 points. First point, in determining VAB, A is a initial position and B is a final position, first point. And if VAB is negative, there is loss in potential energy. If the value VAB is negative, there is a loss of potential energy in moving charge Q from A to B. This implies that work is this implies that work is being done by the field. However, VAB is positive. There is a gain in potential energy in the moment. This implies that an external agent performs the work. So third point, so VAB is independent of path taken. Very, very important point. VAB is independent of path taken. So we will get the detailed idea about this point in later slide. So fourth point, VAB is measured in joule per coulomb, commonly referred as volt. Already we know the unit for voltage is volt or joules per coulomb. So as an example, if the electric field in above figure is due to point charge, you suppose the electric field is due to point charge at the origin is given by E is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R squared into AR. This is already derived in electric field topic. So this is considered as equation number 5. Then substitute equation number 5 in equation number 4. Simply substitute this E value in previous equation. So what is previous equation number 4? Simply minus integral E dot dl. So E is replaced by this value, and here dl is replaced by dr, because this differential length is along with respect to r can be changed by dr. This is equation number A. So VAB can be written as minus E integral A to B RA to RB Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R squared into dr. So now take constant term outside. So minus Q 4 pi epsilon naught integral RA to RB dr by R square. While integrating, we need to integrate. First bring R squared to the numerator. Then we get R power minus 2. R power minus 2. So next step we need to integrate R power minus 2. Then we get R power minus 1 by minus 1. Then we have 2 minus. While multiplying these 2 minus, it is become plus. Here 1 minus is there, here 1 minus. While multiplying these 2, we get the answer as plus. So we get Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R RA to RB. So now apply the limit. Then we get VAB is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by RA minus 1 by RB minus 1 by RA. This is considered as equation number A. 6. Then so again previous formula can be written as, this is first term can be written as VB and the second term can be written as VA. While multiplying this inside, then the first term can be written as VB and the second term can be written as VA. So in general VAB can be written as VB minus VA, where VA, VB and VA are potential or absolute potential at B and A respectively. So this potential difference VAB may be regarded as potential at P with respect to A. Generally VAB is nothing but potential at A with respect to point P. In problem involving point charge, it is customary to choose the infinity. In general case, we need to choose the reference point as infinity. With respect to infinity, the potential is 0. So simply we can define V of infinity. Potential at infinity point is 0. So now we are assuming that point VA. Suppose we are consider RA tends to infinity. That is point A at infinity. The corresponding potential VA is equal to 0. So now substitute this two case in the previous equation number 6. Then the potential at point, any point. So we are consider RB as R due to point charge located at the origin is. So simply V is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. This is the general formula for potential. So generally potential is proportional to 1 by R due to point charge. So next point. So this is the general formula. The potential due to potential with respect to references infinity. So already we defined one of the equation as equation number A. So this is the equation number A. So thus the potential difference VAB may be regarded as potential at B with respect to A. So from equation A, that because E points in radial direction, any contribution of displacement in theta or phi direction is cancelled by dot product E dot dl is with respect to only we have with respect to R, radial line only. So from that we can cancel the theta and phi parameter. Hence the potential difference VAB is independent of path taken as asserted earlier. The potential at any point is a potential difference between that point and a chosen point at which the potential is 0. This is the general case. In other words, by assuming 0 potential at infinity, the potential at a distance r from the point charge is work done per unit charge. Already we discussed potential is nothing but work done per unit charge by the external agent in transferring a test charge from point infinity to given point. So thus again we can rearrange the potential formula as V is equal to minus integral infinity to R E dot dl. This is equation number 9. So suppose, instead of references infinity, we need to consider some point. So instead of infinity, we need to consider some other point. So that is taken as R dash. Then the potential at the given point V of x comma y comma z or simply V of r at r begum. So we can write V of r dash. So here only we are instead of infinity we are taken one point is nothing but r dash. So corresponding to r dash the potential is q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r minus r dash modulus of r minus. In general case we are having only r corresponding to if suppose the reference other than infinity we need to modify r to r minus r dash. This is the new point given as a reference is nothing but r dash. This is equation number 10. So we have considered the electric potential due to point charge. The same basic idea applied to other type of charge distribution, that is continuous charge distribution also, because any charge distribution can be recorded as consisting of point charge. Superposition principle which we applied to electric field applies to the potential. Same concept of superposition principle applied to potential also. For n point charge q1, q2, q3 and qn located at points with position vector r1, r2, r3 and rn, the potential at r is written as V of r is equal to q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r minus r1, q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r minus r2 and goes on up to qn divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r minus rn. So next step, take common term outside. So 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. So simply instead of all the summation terms, simply one common summation and define the variable k. K is equal to 1 to infinity qk r minus rk, modulus of r minus rk. This is point charge. So then for the continuous charge distribution, we replace qk in equation 11 with the element, charge element rho l dl with respect to line charge, rho s ds with respect to surface charge, rho v dv with respect to volume charge, and the summation become integration. So the potential can be written as, so V of r with respect to line charge, simply qk is replaced by rho l dl. So with respect to some point indicated by r dash l dash. So similarly with respect to surface charge, rho s of r dash into ds dash. With respect to volume charge, rho v of r dash into dv dash. So this is with respect to continuous charge distribution. Next one, where the prime coordinate. So already we discussed, suppose where the field quantity to be measured is nothing but field point. So where the source is placed is nothing but source point. So here field point, source point is denoted by prime coordinate and field point is denoted by unprime coordinate. So note, the zero potential reference point has to be chosen arbitrarily to be at infinity. If any other point is chosen, then we have to add plus c. So this is the The C value is fully depends on reference point given. So where C is the constant that is determined at the chosen point of reference or given point of reference. So next one, the potential at a point can be determined in two ways on whether the charge distribution Q or E is known. So if the charge distribution Q is known, we can use equation 10 to 15 depending on type of charge distribution. So if E is known, we simply use V is equal to minus integral E dot dl plus C. Suppose reference at infinity means this C value is 0. So the potential difference VAB can be found generally from VAB is equal to VB minus V is equal to minus integral E dot dl is equal to W by Q. We already derived this expression. So now very important concept, derive the relationship between E and V. So and corresponding Maxwell equation, the potential difference between the point A and B is independent of path taken. So for that VAB is equal to VBA is equal to minus VAB. So while adding these two, the value is 0. So that value should be equal to potential. Already we know the formula, potential integral E dot dl. So this values become 0. So now apply Stokes theorem with respect to this point. What is the Stokes theorem? Integral E dot dl is there means, what is the other side? We got double integral del cross E into ds. So this is the Stokes theorem. So by applying Stokes theorem for equation number 1, so from equation 1, the line integral of E along the closed path as shown in figure must be 0. Line integral of E, so that is E dot dl is equal to 0. The figure shows the conservative nature of the electrostatic field. So suppose we are moving the charge from around the closed path, integral over E dot dl value is 0. So physically this implies that no work is done in moving a charge along the closed path in an electrostatic field. So next one, by applying Stokes theorem, I already explained. By applying Stokes theorem, we get this E dot dl can be modified into the surface integral over S del cross E into ds equal to 0. From this, we can define del cross E is equal to 0. So any vector field that satisfies the equation 1 or 2. Equation 1 is nothing but E dot dl. Equation 1 or 2 said to be conservative or irrotational. Thus the electrostatic field or conservative field. So equation 1 and 2 is referred as Maxwell equation, second Maxwell equation to be derived. So already we derived del dot D is equal to rho V. So this is Maxwell equation 1. So here we are derived del cross E is equal to 0 is nothing but Maxwell equation 2. In point form, differential form or point form. Otherwise E dot dl is equal to integral over closed path E dot dl is 0 is nothing but Maxwell equation in integral form. Both are same. So equation 1 is the integral form and equation 2 is the differential form. Both despite the conservative nature of the electrostatic field. We know that already. We know V is equal to minus integral E dot dl. It follows. So we can write while differentiating this equation. So V become dV and integral become cancel. So we get minus E dot dl. So again, so we can define dl. dl in Cartesian coordinates differential length. We can return as dx into ax plus dy into ay plus dz into az. Similarly, E also have three component, either along x direction, y direction and z direction. So simply while dot product, the answer should be in scalar. So corresponding value with respect to x coordinate is ex. So here the value is dx. While multiplying these two, we get minus ex into dx. With respect to second coordinate, ey into here length is dy. With respect to third one, ez into dz. This is marked as equation number 3. By total derivative, by engineering mathematics 1, one of the topic is the total differential. So we can return dv is equal to dou v by dou x into dx plus dou v by dou y into dy plus dou v by dou z into dz. This is equation number 4. Now simply compare equation 3 and 4. Then we get ex is equal to minus dou v by dou x, ey is equal to minus dou v by dou y, ez is equal to minus dou v by dou z. This is equation number 5. So from this equation number 5, we can write E is equal to minus del V. This is This is the relationship between electric field intensity and potential. It gives the equation number 6. So that is the electric field intensity is the gradient of V. So from the statement, from the equation number 6, electric field intensity is the gradient of V. So negative sign shows the direction of E is opposite to direction in which V increases, or E is directed from higher to lower level of V. Since the curl of gradient of scalar function always 0, so del cross del V is equal to 0. Equation 7, from equation 7, E must be gradient of some scalar function, so therefore E is equal to minus del V. So the another way to obtain E apart from Coulomb's law and Gauss law. This is the third way to obtain E value. Wonder how the one function V can be possibly contain all the information that the three component of E carry. So three component of E are not independent of one another. They are explicitly interrelated by the condition del cross E is equal to 0. What the potential formulation does is to exploit this feature to maintain the advantage of reducing vector problem to a scalar. Main advantage of this relation is vector problem to scalar 1. So next video will be discussed on derive the expression on potential due to electric dipole. Thank you all. Thank you for watching.